All right, everyone. Happy New Year's, January 1st, 2018. Welcome to my blog of the year. I'm going to try to do some things different. I'm going to try to focus on just a couple, no more than four pairs. The first three will be the euro dollar. I'm going to start off with Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. The fourth one may be the S&P minis, the ES basically, or the CL, the oil. I'm not too sure which one I'm going to do, but most likely the max is going to be 4. And that's just what I pretty much decided I want to do in 2018, at least when it comes to the videos. That doesn't mean I'm going to trade, not going to trade these other pairs if I see something long term. But as far as the videos, I think I'm going to stick to something that's pretty popular and has a lot of volume, volatility, and I think it will be easier in my analysis to give good analysis basically. So I'm going to start continuing with the euro. This is a 15-minute chart. I want to mention this because I actually took a loss, and what I mean by taking a loss is that I entered in this market at 1786, knowing pretty much just based on my labels that price was in, starting in the wave 1 of 5, and I had an indication that it would end either at 1975 or at around 2025, between 2025 and 2035. And what I did is, there's a rule that you're supposed to follow in trading, and is you cut your losses short and you let your profits run. And I made that mistake by I didn't let my profits run. I actually cut it short, and my target was 1975, I believe. And once price got to around this particular area, what happened was I knew I was going on a bit of a trip for the holidays, so I just exited the trade like around 1975. And once I got out of the trade, I ended up seeing that price continued to the next level of resistance, which was my level of resistance was 120.35, but it went to around 120.25, 120.22, give or take or so. And just a quick, when you're trading, you can't win them all, but there is a rule that you must follow, and you must let your profits run no matter what. Knowing that I was going to be away from my computer, I did cut it short because there's just no way I was going to be able to check it. I was going to be in the mountains with no service, so there was just no way. So don't get me wrong, I did a good thing by doing it, but there's just a lesson too for anyone who really doesn't know how to trade. One thing you don't do is cut your winners short, for sure. This market, the euro, is in an uptrend. It's in an uptrend on all time frames, monthly, weekly, daily, 240. It's in an uptrend. If you look at it on a larger time frame, which will be my 240, which I continue to go from, if the wave 4 ended at 1553, well, then you have the 1, 2, and we're currently working on wave 3. So this will be the 1, 2, then another 1, 2, possibly 3, and then you'll see wave 4 probably come down to around 1950 or so, and then you should see the extended wave 3 basically come to well above 121.24. It has to break 121.24 to be a wave 3. That way it will be larger than wave 1. So with that being said, what I did, which I mean, even though I shouldn't have done it, but I'm pretty much going with a pretty I'm going with half a trick contract, and it's a pretty I'm gonna have a tight stop. So I went short with the anticipation of the market finding resistance at around 120.28, give or take, and price coming down to around 160, 119.60 or so. So I'm looking for 50 plus pips to the downside on this one, and a reversal. So I'm going to take it short. If price comes down to this 119.60 area, 70 area, then I will go long for the remainder of wave 3. I've been pretty much trending, and I'm trending this market to the upside since the start of, I believe, this wave 2 at around 1729. I think I got in, then I got out somewhere around here at around 18 or so. Then I got back in at around right here at 1789 right here, and then I pretty much, got this whole thing. Half of my contract got stopped out here. I wasn't expecting it to go this low, but as you can see, my particular trend line support now ended up holding, and that pretty much gave me the indication that the price was going to be to the upside. So with the euro, if you're an amateur, I definitely wouldn't take a short. I would wait for this price to come here in this particular area and then go long. So you would get in around 1970 or so, and then you go up to 121 basically. So that's a little over 100 pips just on trading wave. I guess you could say wave 5 of 1 or wave 5 of 3, depending on which wave it is in. So that's enough with that one. That's going to be my only Forex pair. I'm going to move on to this one is Bitcoin Cash. So I'm not doing any Elliott's at the moment with Bitcoin. I think it's a little too new to really give the best Elliott I can give. But what I did do was some research on support and resistance levels. So these greens here are all my resistance levels where I expect price to find resistance. And if it breaks out, it will go to the next resistance level. And on the support side, these are the red lines. So right now, if where price currently is, if price breaks above 123.60, which is here, then I expect price to come to this level of resistance. So if it breaks this particular support line, which technically kind of is a resistance since it's below it, but this is the buffer that it's in. So as long as it trends with between 23.60 and 23, I think 23.18 or so, 23.20 or whatever, then price most likely will continue down to the downside. If it breaks the 23, was it 2301? Yeah. So if it breaks 2300, then the next level of support would be the 2180, and it will range between the 2180 and 2090. So definitely, if you see price breaks the 2300, you got a decent trade to the downside on this one. However, if you see price hover above 2360, well, you also got I don't know exactly the whole pip thing with Bitcoin yet. I'm still doing my research on that, but it looks like you'll have a couple of hundred pips if that's how they do it on Bitcoin. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong. But from 2360, if it breaks above it, then that'll be a buy signal to around 2660, give or take somewhere in between 2660 and 2720 in this particular range. My expectations being that it's the Bitcoin whole thing is now coming to a consolidation, and it's in a downtrend in a daily. I'm expecting price to come down to this 2090 area, if not the 19 area, before I see a larger move to the upside. Now that's Bitcoin Cash, BCHUSD over here. You can see. So keep an eye on that. If you want, you can rewind the videos and start to put these particular support lines where my red lines are and the resistance lines where the green one's at, and just kind of watch it if you're not really trading it yet. Do your homework, do your due diligence before you actually put money into this stuff. Don't be like these other amateurs out here who heard Bitcoin was this hot commodity to buy. They had not a clue, didn't know a damn thing about trading, and all of a sudden they're putting money over in the Coinbase to buy Bitcoin, and once price broke 19,000, the next you know it shot down, and half of everyone lost their money. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. Moving on to the actual Bitcoin versus a dollar. So this is the particular chart. I believe this is a Bitcoin futures where everyone is in. As you can see, price has been trending down pretty much in December, and it went pretty much all the way down to 10,000 from 20,000. It made an attempt up to try to go towards the 17,000 range, but it didn't go, and it came back down. And it came back down basically to 11,700, or somewhere between 11,700, 11,000, 11, 12, 11,000, or 12,000. I'm sorry. Currently, price is at about 13,105 or so, and my expectations with this particular market is if price stays below 13,105, well, then the next level of support, it will come down to 12,000. And it will range between 12,000 and 11,700, right in this particular area here. If it breaks this one, then you will have a continuum downtrend to 10,000, between 10,050 and 10,550. So I'm sorry, between 11,050 and 10,550. So that's my expectation on this particular market. Now, if price does move above 13,100 basically, then 13,100, then it's going to find some resistance right around the 14,200, between 14,200 and 14,600, right here in this particular range area. And if it breaks that, well, then it'll probably, this particular line here will come the support, and I'll expect price to come to the 15,200 level, between 15,200 and 15,500. So keep an eye out on that. I do expect some volatility, most likely tomorrow and Friday during the FOMC meeting for the first one of the year. So let's see how it goes. My expectation is going to be the down a little bit, has a little bit more consolidation to the downside, and price it just may continue lower than 10,500. But for now, I don't want to put my Elliott on this yet. I want to just play the support and resistance levels and see what we come up with. Until then, I'm going to give it a few months and just kind of see how the patterns unfold. And as I see a little bit more clarity with the Elliott, then I'll start to go that route. But for now, just hopefully these particular support and resistance levels help. And I will have another video out tomorrow that'll be shorter than this, just doing an update on these three markets. So happy New Year and happy trading.